Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Dragonheir SilentGods video. In today's video, we're going to talk about the number 2 most important dungeon to farm when it comes to gear. Or, in my opinion, and for what I've seen other people, the number 1 dungeon for gear is always going to be the Grave of Venom. I already made a small guide on it showing you how you can get yourself some epic gear. Then the number 2 is going to be the Heretical Ruins. We do have the Grave of Curse and we do have the Grave of Rot as well, but they're not as high of a priority as the Heretical Ruins. And then there's another one, but we have not all unlocked it yet. So let's talk about the Heretical Ruins. Let's see exactly what the boss does. So if you look at the info, the boss fires, spews fireball the current enemy and splashes on all enemies inflicted with burn. So basically, if you have burn, he kind of does an AoE hit on yourself. I guess I should move myself to the other side. I'm floating. Then this one induces rebirth of all Phoenix eggs. So basically, he summons the 2 side adds, and if you don't kill them, they will start healing him. Okay, that's something that you need to keep in mind. If at least one dead Phoenix nestling is reborn, that Phoenix gains invisibility. Okay, so he will gain invisibility if, let's say, you kill one or you kill both and he just revives them both. However, if you don't kill either of them, he's not going to put that invisibility. So that's something to keep in mind. As you might be using a tactic like that. However, you should be killing the minions most of the time. Then deals fire damage to all enemies, inflicting 2 stacks of burn for 12 seconds. And obviously with AoE, you're gonna get lots of damage in there. Then he's just immune to control. And then the side X, the Phoenix X that has transformed from a dead Phoenix. The bird can be reborn, will gain the skill of Eternal Fire. After rebirth, enters the status of worship for 10 seconds and heals a dead Phoenix by 1.5% max HP every 1 second, granting 1 stack of total damage bonus permanently. So basically what this one means, it's kind of a bit confusing, but if you do not kill the Phoenixes, the small ones on the side, before he does this skill again, this one over here, the Nirvana, to revive them, they're gonna start healing him and they're gonna boost his damage. So obviously one of the things that you might want to keep in consideration is you want to kill it as fast as possible. So basically bringing AoE damage is going to be the key in here, or bringing some AoE damage but also bringing heal reduction. Okay, because the boss is going to take a little bit more damage. You might be able to take that, but the fact that the boss heals, that's gonna be a problem. Okay, so the fact the boss heals is going to be a problem. So the team that I will be using today is honestly kind of the same team that I've been using in most stuff, but I want you guys to keep in mind and listen to what I'm saying in the sense of the mechanics. Okay, so I'm showing you the heroes, but it does not have to be these specific ones. Okay, you can use anybody else that has that kit. It doesn't have to be only a rare, it can be epic, legendaries. I'm just trying to use the lowest level ones so I can make it as relatable for you guys. So when it comes to the tank, I'm using Horus, the free tank. This one can be any tank that you want. It can be Frurbath, Garius, whoever, whoever brings you something useful in this dungeon, especially tanking. But if there's somebody else that brings more healing, more decreased attack, more AoE damage that can tank, do that. Okay, then the next one is going to be my basic old Hexandra for the heals. She's pretty good because she has a good heal AoE, and at the same time on her battle skill she does a cleanse on a single target. So that one can be anybody else. Again, if you have a better healer, bring in a better healer. Then I'm using the Adventurer as Ice for extra survivability. He does a decent amount of damage, but he also puts that shield on us, which allows us to survive more. Then I'm using the Sigrid over here. She's like DPS, but she also brings the heal reductions, okay? The heal prohibitions, and brings us a little bit of decreased attack. So, it does not have to be specifically Sigrid. She's just really good at it. But if you have some other people that bring heal prohibition, just bring them in. It doesn't matter. Like, if it's a Dane, if it's somebody else, you can easily find that when you go to your champions. Let me just show you exactly. So if you go over here, if we click like this to see what you have, click on this little one for the filter, and then just see the heal reduction, select that and see who do you have that does heal reduction. So I have a Dane, I have Thea, I have Nessa, I have Eki. So choose whoever you know you have in there that can do that. However, at the same time, if you don't have anybody that does heal reduction, bring AoE damage, okay? Because if you're going to kill the side ads fast enough and he doesn't do that revival while they're up, you don't really need heal reduction. So that's why, I'm using her just to have as a chance for heal reduction, but she also does AoE damage if I have debuffs, and kind of in a way to enable her, I brought Yola, which is one of the ones that I already have built and I'm using on my account. I brought her because of this, okay? She does triple hits AoE that brings decreased attack, silence, or stun. So having her place those debuffs kind of enables my Sigrid a bit to do the right stuff, and then at the same time the adventurer having the damage on the battle skill that places speed penalty. Obviously on higher levels you're not going to give him accuracy, so you're not going to land that, but for now he might land it and make Sigrid's hit AoE. However, if you're not going with this route, just have 2 AoE damage dealers, okay? Because 1 healer plus the adventurer and 2 AoE damage dealers should be enough to just kill this on level 4. We're just trying, we're just trying to get in there and beat it on this stage so that we can start unlocking the epic runes, okay? The positive runes are really important because they give you tons of good stats, okay? They give you attack, crit damage, they give you HP, defense, skill haste as a substat, which is the most important substat, or the most important stat in the game is going to be skill haste, because that one allows you to come back to your abilities faster, okay? So the more skill haste you have, the faster you're going to come back to your abilities. May it be the battle skill, may it be the active skill, doesn't matter, but skill haste is amazing. And for this one, I'm going to show you, because you know what? I even left 2 people at 70 on purpose. I didn't level them up, but I'm gonna show you the importance of the set that we got from the Grave of Venom, okay? Even though I didn't level them up, and you're gonna see that like, oh, it's epic gear. Yes, you should have quite a little bit of epic gear by this point. You might just be farming lower levels of Heretical ruins to get some rare pieces of the positive runes. I would say don't invest too much in those ones, because as soon as you get your people, if I had a full team of 90s, which you should do at this point, it's like 2 weeks in, 2 weeks and a half in, you should have a full team of 90s, and you should have, you should start having epic gear on your people. This should be pretty easy. As you see, it's working pretty fine. It's, it's a good team. It's a good team, and it works pretty easy. You just have to understand the mechanics and the principle and the reasons behind every single hero that I brought in this team. What they bring, what they do, and why they are in this team, okay? You see the adventurer keeps putting those shields. Those are massive. So, it's all about getting the right team in there. If you see that maybe you don't survive as well, as I'm doing, and maybe you're dying, drop one of the DPS and bring another healer, okay? You don't have to have a, exactly like I said. If you see that you're struggling, keep the adventurer as ice for more support. Bring another healer, maybe bring somebody like an Anna that does cleansing as well, because you want to cleanse those burns off of yourself. So just adapt, see what works with you. But maybe if you bring a second healer and you only have 1 DPS, then you might need to have the what's it called? You might need to have the heal reduction in the team, or maybe if you have 2 healers, you can swap the adventurer as a fire, and then he can bring more damage, and that might again allow you to not care about the heal reduction, heal prohibition as much. But yeah, again, you have to think, you just have to think what works for you. Test what I showed you. If that doesn't work, keep in mind all the tips that I gave you and try to swap around and see what's gonna actually make it work. Because you know what, you'll need to start beating it like a few times. Then after you start forging and you start getting better runes, you can easily progress higher and higher and higher. It's it's just the way the game is. You just need to do it a few times, even if it's not 100%. If you manage to do it and start getting yourself those good runes, you're gonna be progressing. This is gonna become more of a breeze. Then you move to the next stage and so on and so forth. So this one looked pretty good as well. Looked like 2 minutes and 10 seconds, I think, right? Because it's 5 minutes in total. Job done. So job done. This was it. Let's see. Okay, 3 minutes, my bad. So it's 6 minutes in total, 3 minutes. Now let's have a quick look at the builds. Oh yeah, and basically these are the rewards. You get the tempering sand, which basically you go and forge them, okay? After you get these ones, because you get lots of the rare ones, but after you get those ones, you go into the camp, you go over here to the forge, You click equipment forging, then you go to the epic side, and over here is the positive rune. You see I have 8 out of 5, so I can forge one, and depending on the roll I get the 6. Okay, and I got myself a epic positive rune. Okay, lightning, defense, attack, and then you choose, you know, if you're gonna use it or not, and so on and so forth. But let's have a quick look at the build. So first one, the adventurer, he's basically with attack. I have attack or attack percent on him as much as I can. I didn't even swap. Like, I should have swapped and give him attack percent if I have here, because after you get past level 70, attack percent gives you more stats. So you just even left the flat attack stuff in there, so it's relatable, you know. But I did give him epic gear, the usual artifact that we get free early on, and then a random rune, doesn't really matter. Then Yola, I have her in 2 sets of the, what's it called, Goblin Gloves, because this one's one of the best sets up until you push it later, because it gives you skill haste, as I mentioned. So it doesn't matter if they are the worst pieces of skill set, if they're flat stats, if they're whatever, just put this set on your Yola, on your people that you want to do damage, on your people that want to come back faster to their heals, on people that do debuffs. Okay, on your damage dealer, maybe you would not go with this, maybe you would go something like this one. So for example, on my Yola, because she's with because she does some, like I said, debuffs, and they're really important, I gave her 2 sets of this one. Then I did the same thing for Sigrid. I just gave her 1 set, and then another set that gives her some attack speed. Again, doesn't, you know, nothing too crazy. Make sure they have the accuracy, okay? Make sure you have the accuracy to land the debuffs. Then Hexandra, again, same principle. You want her to come back to her heal as often as possible. So I gave her again the Goblin Brawler set that gives skill haste. See? So basically we have 40 just by having that, and she's still level 70, not even maxed. Same thing for Sigrid. She's still 70. I can still, let me see. Oop, move my head. I can still upgrade her. And then Horus, well, Horus, I just threw stuff that gives him defensive stats. Defense percent, I didn't even max this piece. And then I just completed the sets for a few extra stats, a rare rune in there, and that was about it. So, you know, opening up the first time the chance to get epic gear is really important. And yeah, you might need to have some people at 90s, but, you know, you get stuck in the game for quite a few, you know, in quite a few areas that what else are you gonna do but farm Goblin, farm domains, get your levels up, then farm a little bit in the Grave of Venom, get as many of those epic pieces that you can to start forging, and then start building your people and move on to the next dungeon, like I said, which is the Heretical Ruins, because the positive runes are going to be insane. Let me see if I find a nice example. Okay, yeah, this is a good example. This is what I normally use on my Yola. It gives her 11 extra skill haste and some accuracy. So this is huge. You know, it gives you more stats to be able to build your people the right way, to give them the stats that you need for higher difficulty stuff. But yeah, I guess this is gonna be it for the video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this is helpful for you. I'm always trying to make as relatable content as I can to give you guys advice, give you guys because again, if I would use my Mithrasia filter, you know, go with all my legendary, it's not gonna be as relatable. So that's why you're always gonna see me use Horus, always gonna see me use Hexandra, because everybody gets them free to play. Yeah, you might pull some other epics, but everybody's guaranteed to have these 2 people. Whereas some other ones, like for example my Sigrid, maybe not everybody has her, but you could pull her from the chest, you know, from the battle pass. However, that's why I explain when I use people that not everybody has, such as Sigrid and Yola, what you can use instead of them. Okay, I always try to be as explicit and as helpful as possible. Anyway, this is gonna be it for the video today, guys. As always, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.